not yet. There you go.
Okay. We are back. Welcome back. Marked fam in the house. We got a guest.
What's up?
Hello,
Introduce yourself, sir.
my name is Philip.
Where you from, Phil?
I'm from Northport, Florida.
Or for Florida. What do you do, bro?
I make films, short
Films.
films, skits, uh, food reviews, basically everything that falls under a video. So,
So Vlad and me know Phil. We're just acting like we don't know him. He's
well, I don't
a
know you
homie.
guys.
Yeah. We don't know each other. We're just kind of like
Hey, I was
strangers.
watching one of your reviews on some hot sauce
Oh
that
boy.
Vasily picked up in the mall, and it was like the black bottle.
Yeah, the
Y'all,
flat line.
it says put 3 drops. Y'all just like went straight in. Oh, it shouldn't be that
Dab it.
hot.
Yeah,
Oh man,
that's us every single time we have a hot sauce. We're like, oh, it's not that bad. We go for more, and then we feel like dying.
yeah, no, that was
Bro,
fun to watch.
like I showed it to my sister, right? And she's like 13. And so she liked your videos, man. So like props, man. You get in that target audience, you know.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to progress further with these videos, but I mean, you're in the latest one. I'm still editing right now, the Christmas special.
Christmas
Mm.
special.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fun. Got
it
to make
was
some coffee, latte art, all that
coffee,
goodness.
hot cocoa, some tea.
Hmm.
Spoiler. So,
Yeah, just a little bit. But let's talk about a little bit about movies, guys. Talk about
yeah.
Yeah,
movies from this year.
movies. Woo!
Um, what did you guys like this year? Out of all the movies that came out, what was your favorite?
Ooh,
Black
that's a
Adam,
tough
bro.
one. I,
Really?
I
No,
actually
I
like
don't know.
Black
I haven't
Adam.
watched it
Bro.
even.
I actually like Black Adam, okay, but it was not my favorite.
I haven't even watched it. I don't know. I'm just
Ooh.
kidding.
You guys discuss your favorite. I'm gonna still think about mine because there was a lot that came out
Okay,
this year.
I don't know about the movies in particular, but one thing that I watched, I mean, okay, I got into Star Wars this year. I'm very late to the party.
Thanks
But
to who?
yes, thank you, Daniel. You happened to show me the worst Star Wars, one of the worst Star Wars TV shows, Boba Fett, and then I ended up kind of liking it, so I went on the limb and just watched all of them. So I obviously watched my favorite, my favorite episode. Was it episode 3? I watched it twice this year.
Oh wow.
So it was fun.
Bro,
But I'll tell you
dedication.
this: I really enjoyed Andor. That TV show is insane, bro.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet. I want to.
It is, even if you're not into Star Wars, it's probably one of the best things that happened this year.
So what,
I'm not even joking.
bro,
Wow.
with that show in the beginning, I was kind of like, because I've seen The Mandalorian, I've seen Boba Fett, all that.
It's different,
And
bro.
getting into the first couple episodes, I was like, but then it builds up and it's like, okay, this is getting good. And
I
I
don't want to
got
get
what you meant when
spoiled
you said
here.
this was
So
good. No,
Hey, you better watch it, bro. This is like your you're gonna have a lot of time this Christmas, so just go ahead and binge it. It's worth it.
I we were basically waiting, like me, Vasily, and Ivan Pushkash. We were waiting for the whole show to finish up, like we usually do, and just binge it, like in a span of like 2 days, 3 days. Like I don't know why we started doing that. Like when there's a new show coming out from Marvel or Star Wars, we just wait till it's completely done and then just you know watch like two a day and then we finish it. Because I don't know, the whole waiting thing is like we don't really like the whole
speaking of
waiting thing.
waiting, bro, when you gonna be done with your last Godfather movie? We've been waiting for that.
Oh
This
my.
man's trying to get
I'm a
out.
very busy man, so I I will tell you guys. Okay, this is gonna be an honest moment here. The first time everyone hearing this, I haven't even started editing it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What? This man told me he's like 80% done, and then he's
Nice.
like, yeah, let me recorrect that.
No. I am 80% done. It's just I got very busy earlier this year with a lot of weddings. A lot of weddings happened this year, and I was recording them and putting together. I got a new job, and that also took a toll on my time. and started
So,
going to the gym.
what's
So
the
a lot of
deal with
stuff.
these Godfather movies anyway?
So me and Vasily a while back, like 6 or 7 years ago, we're just thinking like, oh, we should like start making like short films, like practice script writing, acting, all that stuff. So we started off with the first Godfather fan film, which Vasily wrote up a little script, and we got our green screen and filmed everyone separately. It was a really bad. It's really cringe looking at it now, but back then it was just practice basically. And then we were like, oh, let's make a sequel just for the heck of it. And the sequel was better. Still a couple of cringy moments, but that's where you learn. Practice makes perfect. You learn from your mistakes. But then people were like, "Oh, we like that movie. We like that Godfather movie you made." So we're like, "Ah, let's just finish off with the trilogy, the third one." It's a fan film. We're not gonna get anything out of it because it's based on someone else's property. We're just doing it for practice and fun. And Vasily really liked the Godfather movies, so that's where he started off. With this idea of making it. Um, so he wrote the script for all three. I had a few inputs here and there, but in this last one, I think he gave me creative control on like 2 or 3 scenes. He doesn't even know what's going on in those scenes, so it's gonna be a surprise for him and everyone else. But after this movie is done, which I'm hoping is gonna be soon, because I want to free up some time and actually put effort into editing it, because there's a lot of CGI involved, so it takes a lot of time to render everything and animate everything. So after I'm done with this last one, our next movie is our own original idea, original everything. Just we could actually make uh, money off of it this time, and it's gonna
The
be a really good
Northport
one.
Wolf on Wall Street.
No, 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 no. He who shall not be named. The whole his story arc is not done yet, so we'll wait on that. But no, this next movie is gonna be like a mystery drama, so I can't wait because Knives Out was a really good movie. And I think going back to the question, my favorite movie of the year, I think, ooh, it's gonna be a tough one, but Death on the Nile was like one of my top five, and it's like a nice
I like
mystery.
those. Those were really good.
It was really
I
good.
like the actor, just the way it was put together. It gives a good amount of suspense, and you don't like recognize it like just going straight into your face.
Yes.
But talking about movies, I'm sure you guys been to a church where they had like at the movie series and all that kind of
Oh
stuff. What do you
man,
guys think about those
I
type
think
of
it's so
series?
cringy. I don't know. I could
Really?
never stand behind that. I first time I saw it, obviously I never came from that background. First time I came in, I'm like, this is so weird. Like we're in church. Um, we're like trying to be like at the movies and everybody's wearing costumes and then we go into worship and then
Yeah.
they're like draw these like random similarities between the two. And I was like, oh my goodness, I please tell me next time when there's gonna be at the movie shot so I don't come.
It's
I
like
mean, me personally, I like them. I like them. I will say, coming from a Slavic background, not ever being exposed to anything like that at all, especially like dressing up is like considered demonic in conservative circles or whatever not. Um, I kind of had like a cultural shock, but as I kept on going, I guess I was like, okay, this is actually. I will say there was some that were like, I really don't get how you're getting this message, but I guess it works for people.
the King
But
Richard.
some of them was like spot on, bro. Like, but some were cringe, just like Vlad said. So
The
I don't
King
know. I
Richard
kind of
one
enjoy.
was okay, I think. Remember that one, Dale?
Which one again? Sorry.
King Richard, that movie with Will Smith.
Oh, that was, decent. I think it was decent. Yeah,
It's a pretty
I thought
decent
that was
message.
decent. Good message. Overall. I mean, pretty sure they're Mormon, but that's another topic.
Yes.
No,
I
no.
just yeah, I just hope they don't like next year they're gonna be like, okay, today we're talking about Joker. Ooh. Yeah, no
Mental
thanks.
health.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like this year's movies, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen that many. I don't watch that many movies in general. I don't know if I have a lot of time for it. Probably TV shows like more. but I did enjoy the Batman. Right, it was this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
believe
so
so.
I quite enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the original Batman. Like, I wasn't like fanboying or anything like that. Like, I thought it was pretty good. But this one was it seemed the most like real and
Serious.
yeah, serious, and I actually liked that. I liked that it wasn't like crazy superhero. It was more like just a guy who has like a lot of money and he just knows how to do stuff. And he's really good at figuring things out. But then there's just that movie was great for me
Yeah,
personally.
some pretty good mystery aspects to that too.
Yeah,
He actually did detective work this time around. Like he's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, but every other movie he doesn't do any detective work. So this one I actually like too because of that.
I like the cinematography. The cinematography shots of
Yes.
some of it was just like blown away by it, quite literally.
yeah. There
uh,
was there was one shot when he was doing a car chase, and he's just jumping over that truck from the
mhm.
fire. And I remember I was at the theaters, and I've never done that before, but I just went, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I actually screamed because I thought it was so cool, the
Yeah, that
whole
was a brilliant,
suspense and everything. And
pretty
yeah,
cool
that really
scene.
got to me.
You know, so these movies of like The Mandalorian and all that, that's like Disney. They've been bought out. But I don't know if you guys heard recently, Apple is actually thinking of acquiring Disney. I guess that's what happens when you become a $1 trillion company, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
So,
my
what do you guys
gosh.
think about that? Because, I mean, Disney in general, I mean, you guys, the Christian community in general kind of sees it now in a negative light for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And a company such as Apple, right,
Mm.
which, I mean, you know, could be also considered left wing. Um, some of their movies, they're not like in your face about it. You know what I mean? Like we watched The Greatest
Yeah.
Beer Run. We watched what was that musical
Spirited
Spirited,
with
and
Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell.
yeah, and I mean, bro, like,
It was
what do
not
you guys
bad.
think
It's
about
pretty
that?
good.
You think it's going to be a good thing, or is that just more of a monopoly, just becoming bigger monopoly?
Let me just say that you probably won't be able to watch any more Disney movies on Androids or Windows.
That
Just
would be
Apple
that would
devices.
be a move, bro. That would be
Just
a power
be
move.
locked on all Apple devices, and that's it.
That
That
would
would.
be crazy. Now that you're saying that, bro, I'm thinking about that. That would be a possibility. Because think about it, like, well,
Yeah.
no, they actually include some of the apps on like Samsung and all that kind of stuff. But like, there's certain devices where you can only use like their Apple Music on it or whatever. It's like
Mm.
locked to only a certain service.
Yeah, or Apple TV
So
and
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I feel like it's a money grab at this point because you see a lot of these big companies, they get into everything. So
Yeah.
if how many companies picked up the whole video calls and zooming and all that. Like, then we look at streaming services. Like, there's a ton of them now. There used to be like Netflix.
Yeah.
Now there's like HBO. There's Amazon Prime. There's
Yep.
a bunch of other ones. Like, and Apple wants a piece of the pie too. So I'm sure for them it's like, I don't really think it's gonna change anything, to be honest. I actually think Netflix is probably way more left wing than anybody on the field.
Mm.
But for them, it's probably a long term game of like, hey, yeah, we want to get into this so we can establish ourselves long term because that's the move that everybody's doing.
Amazon Prime is, I think, my favorite one because they have basically everything. You don't have to necessarily pay every month to watch them. I mean, if you want to rent a video for a movie for like $3, I mean, because your streaming services, you're not always watching. You don't have time, and you're paying like up to $12 or $15 a month, and sometimes you're just paying and not using it at all. But Amazon Prime, you're using it for shipping. You're using it for you could use it for music and all that, and then the movies. You watch a movie, you just pay for it once, and that's it.
Yeah.
so speaking of series, you guys probably all both heard of the series The Chosen.
Yes.
I think it's amazing. I mean, honestly, out of all the TV shows and movies that I've seen about Jesus, I think it brings such a realness to Jesus. And what I mean by that is it shows aspects of Jesus of just like being a man, you know, like he wakes up in the morning and he just, you know, he's like, hey, like just praying, you know, like it shows like aspects of him where he's just like laying in bed type of like praying and doing stuff that's more realistic, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's the proper word, but more of like the raw and
Grounded.
versus of this expectation of God just being of like fully this untouchable being that's like angel like and all this stuff, which he is, right? Like holy and everything. But like, let's not forget he went through everything we went through, right? And I think that does a good job on that.
Do you remember the scene where he went up to the Pharisees and the Pharisees like, if you don't stop now, we'll use the law of Moses, and he's like, I am the law of Moses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a really good.
Mic drop right
Yeah.
there. Right
Yeah,
there.
I
Mic drop.
mean, you're taking the best story ever written, the most important story of
Yeah.
humanity, and then if you portray it really well, I think it's gonna do really well. I think we saw that with the Passion of Christ, right?
Yeah.
Like a while back, and a lot of people love that movie. And I feel like it's the same thing here. It's very well made, and someone who did a really great job at it.
They're making a sequel.
Third season, bro. They're on their
No.
third
They're making a sequel to Passion of Christ.
How?
What?
I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
Apostles.
The actor came out and said that they're in talks of making a sequel to Passion of
Bro.
Christ, and I'm like, maybe the Rapture or something, but I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do that.
I mean, he's coming back, so might as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I mean,
They're gonna do a
the
live stream.
sequel is the actual thing happening, manifesting, metaverse style.
No, they're gonna do a live stream of the actual Rapture happening at the same time, just everything.
Oh
Like,
my
this is the
goodness.
sequel, guys.
Well,
Yep.
with the Chosen season 3, from what I've seen, it performed really well, and it was number 2 after the Wakanda movie, in nationally. So, dude, that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a good medium, you know, and that's what I love about like storytelling movies and why we're even discussing this, you know, is because I believe like this medium of movies or videos or clips, whatever you want to call it, like anything visual arts, is a way of showing stuff to people in a different light, which words can't really communicate, right? Like people say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Well,
Yeah.
And sometimes
listen,
you don't have
from
a,
what I've heard, and this is like
Yeah.
a speculation. I'm sorry I'm cutting you off because I really
Go
need to
ahead.
say it. But because Jesus was so good at storytelling, a lot of people, well, some people say if he would have lived here today, he would probably be a movie producer or something like that.
hey,
I wouldn't
believe
disagree
it.
with that. I mean, that's a very good medium to use to share the gospel. I mean, that's what we're trying to do in a few of my short films. Is like it always had a message pertaining to like a chapter or a verse in the Bible. Like the past few Godfathers. The first one was insolence dies to wisdom, basically respecting your elders and stuff. Second one was
We talked about this, Vlad.
yeah, we did. The second was about putting your life down for a loved one or something. There was like a verse in the Bible. I can't remember it right now,
The
but
greatest love
Honor others
is
above
yes,
yourself, maybe.
that one. That's it. Yeah. And the third one is about don't want to spoil anything, but the third one is about getting rid of your idols.
Mhm.
That part of the Bible. So we're trying to kind of intertwine, kind of like Narnia. Kind of, Narnia was like basically Christian based,
Right.
Bible based.
C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, but it was its own story as well. So we're kind of trying to share the gospel in a way, but also be entertaining because I think you guys know, but a lot of Christian movies out there are
Just call it out for what it is,
kind of
bro.
cringe.
Yes.
Very
Cringe.
hard to
Some are
watch
just
sometimes.
Like, sorry, you can't watch it. Like it's just that bad where you're like 5 minutes in and you're like, I'm sorry, brother. Like you're Christian and everything and you want to support it, but like I'm sorry, bro. Like I just gotta call it out for what it is. It's just
Yeah.
not good. You know
Even
what I mean?
Me being a Christian, I'm like, I'm seeing like almost sometimes they're like shoving it down your throat, and that could lead for people to be pushed away from Christianity rather than be inspired by it or like be curious about it.
Well, my question to you guys then, I totally see where you guys are saying, and I probably agree on it. The one thing that what I'm trying to ask myself and you, and what do we think about that, is what does it take to create a really good Christian movie? Because a lot of times, those Christian guys, they don't always have education. They don't always know. They don't have the inner circles. They don't have the funding.
Yeah.
So how do we find that balance between actually creating a good Christian movie that's not totally butchered? The story is not butchered, right? And actually have a great quality and also get the right funding for it.
Like that Noah movie that came out a few years ago. That was so bad.
Yeah.
By the way, we gotta mention, bro. We gotta mention none of the movies we said we're endorsing or anything like that.
Yes.
It's
No,
not an ad or anything. Just
except the
Oh, we're
Godfather
not?
that we're making.
yeah. Godfather, we're endorsing. Our man right here.
Superior Productions on YouTube.
Yep, there you go.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so how do we make great Christian movies? That's like a open question.
A good question.
You know, good Christian movies. I think what we mentioned prior to this is probably one of the keys or one of the main ingredients is deliver in such a medium or in such a way where the person eating it or consuming it doesn't realize it's there. So, and once they go on in life, they're like, oh, wait, that thing that they said there, I see how it ties into this and this part of my life and this part. And I think that's what C.S. Lewis, Tolkien, all these great Christian writers who now we have these movies about, what they did, right? Lord of the Rings, like a guy who loves like dragons, all this kind of like mystical stuff, wizards, all that kind of
Fantasy.
stuff. Yeah, fantasy in general. You know, they'll read it. But little did they know there's that broccoli in there, as I want to call it, that has been put in there, but you didn't even notice it. It's good for you, but you didn't even know it was in there. You know what I mean? And it gets you, as you go through life, you're like, oh, snap, that's that.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you like an exposure almost to dig deeper and discover it yourself. And I think that's the best way of obtain or going into faith, right? When it's not adopted but self-sought, right? You found it yourself.
Not
You
forced
went
upon.
out and sought whatever that thing that captivated you to get more knowledge about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the stuff that sticks the longest in our life is when we go out and get it ourselves versus somebody force feeding us, right? So yeah, that's my little take on it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. That's a good point. But at the same time, you don't want to completely. I mean, you want to write a good story, obviously, good movie. But if there's a Christian message in there, if people don't realize it's there, sometimes they won't realize at all. But also, you don't want to force it. So what we were doing is like at the end of the movie of The Godfathers, we were like basically we have Vasily explaining that what you just witnessed is a good message in the Bible, and then he goes on telling the verse and stuff like that, which is pretty nice. Like it lets people know at the end of the movie, like, oh, this is a good message, or because if we just end the movie, like I feel like Narnia was the best one. It didn't really explain it at the end, but even me watching it for the first time, I didn't know it was Bible based. But then at the end, I'm like, this story is very familiar, to the Bible. And then I looked it up. Lord of the Rings, I didn't even know. I watched Lord of the Rings with my friends, and I didn't realize that it was based anywhere, anything from the Bible or Christianity. And it took me a couple of forums to go through to find out. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. So it's like, same time, people might not look for it, but they could find it. I don't know how to explain it correctly here, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also like that. There's an argument between what you guys are saying and also in music and other forms of arts. It's like, okay, you can just straight up be like gospel Christian, like preach the message of Jesus, preach the gospel, or you can have something faith related or maybe challenging. This challenges people on a personal level, and then they actually
Montel
get.
fish.
Well, I don't want to get in there, but there's so there's always that argument, and I think it really it really boils down to, I think personally, from what I've seen, probably great storytelling, right? I think we can all agree on that. If you have a great story, someone will pick it up, someone will make a movie, whether it's you or not. And we have a great, amazing story of Jesus, which several people try to capture it. Some were successful, some were not, and that's okay, because everyone's just trying to do their own thing. So I had a question. What if we scale down to like maybe someone on social media or YouTube? Do you guys know anybody who's like a great storyteller, or doesn't have to be Christian, but just someone that you guys follow or have seen that has amazing stories? I'm gonna think about it too.
I personally, I don't know if they're considered a storyteller. Actually, I think a couple times they might have mentioned themselves as a storyteller. But Erwin McManus, I think, Vlad, you kind of introduced me to him pretty much. And I listened to one of his videos and I was like, bro, this guy just hits home all the way. And he just has the art of communication course and all that stuff. And recently he developed 7 frequencies of communication, which is amazing, I think, phenomenal, of explaining why certain people communicate the way they do, right? And that could be applied to stories as well. And ultimately, he just has this way of communicating where it's clear, it gives a bit of mystery, and ultimately draws you in, right? Once it like captivates you, wants you to kind of keep on listening, and he doesn't just spit it all out at once type of thing. It gives a lure. That's the proper word for it. And I think that's very key. Another key ingredient is having a good lure for the story you're telling.
So you get the hook, yeah.
Yeah.
You reeled in it.
Fisher
Reel it
man.
in. Reel her in. There we go.
That's why they call it film reel, right?
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Vlad, how are we on time, bro?
We've a few minutes, but I wanted to hear from you, Phil. Do you have anybody that you look up as an inspiration, maybe that we can even go and look at right now?
I mean, there's a couple of YouTube channels I follow that do like short films and maybe like almost feature films, like hour long. They do their own story and everything, but it's not really Christian related, but it's like very good story writing, very good messaging. Like, even people who are not Christian, they understand morality.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of morality, so they have their own messaging. So even then, uh, yeah, like I follow a Quarter Digital. I think you know them, right?
Never
No.
heard.
I follow Film Riot. I follow a bunch of, basically a lot of Zuka. That's another YouTuber. Yeah, but they make a lot of short films, a lot of good story, a lot of good messaging there. And I don't know if you use TikTok.
I use a delayed TikTok called Instagram.
Ah, okay. There's a few TikTokers there too that they make like little skits too.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the beginning, it was just like funny skits, but now it's like they're making very serious based skits and like good messaging there too. It's pretty interesting how many people are going viral right now with these ideas. Like the platform allows them to just upload, and they're being creative. Uh, it's pretty interesting how like everything just blew up right now.
Dude, do you remember this one dude? He's probably like, I don't know. He wasn't from America. Maybe he was from UK, whatever. But they would make these videos, these stories. They're kind of like cringy looking, but they're like very have like high morality in them. And there's always like some kind of exchange, and then someone calls something, and then a person responds, but actually what I meant, and then they're like very slow and they're like kind of cringy. I don't know. They were like popular like a year or two ago. I'll have to find out, but they're so like the execution was so weird and they're so corny, but at the same time, I remember I was just glued into it. I'm like, I'm watching them. Like,
That's
why
what
am
made
I
it
even
good.
watching it? Like, I
I
just
feel
want to
was-
know
like
what
that's the
happened.
shock
It
factor,
was
bro.
it was good bad, right? It was a good bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's movies out there that are very bad, but they're so fun to watch.
man, what
no,
was
for
that guy's
sure.
name? Let me try to find it.
They're like, oh man, this movie looked like it was made with $5, but it's so fun to watch. Like there's movies like that, and then
I
there's
mean,
movies that were made with $2 million, no, maybe a billion sometimes, and it's like, it's another lefty movie that sucks.
Right.
facts, bro. Facts.
It's not all about the money. It's about the writer and the director, honestly. You know?
Speaking of TikTok, they're trying to ban it in a couple states already.
Yep.
Let's go.
They're
It's kind of
trying to
sad
get
because
rid
I
of it.
have 1.7 million viewed video on there that I made. I'm gonna lose
Come
it.
You had how many views?
Actually, let me check. Maybe it grew.
Yeah, dude, we
It's
posted
been
like
a
a
minute.
random video with Nathaniel. We got like 1 million views, and it wasn't
Oh.
even good at all.
2.6 million views. 487,000 likes.
That's just crazy
This
to
is
me.
this one.
Like,
It's
oh,
just
that one, the gas station. Oh,
yeah.
dude, that was
It
during
blew up
peak.
like over a few days. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But it was only a one-time thing. It looks like because every other video I'm posting, it's only getting like 10
Got picked
likes.
up in the algorithm.
Yes, the algorithm.
All right, guys, I think we're in about 30 plus minute mark, so I think we
Oh,
should
wow.
try to wrap
That was
up.
it? That was only
was-
30 minutes?
Yeah, that went
That was
super
fun,
quick.
right?
So Phil, how can we find you online? If like, your YouTube, your
It's kind of difficult right now because I'm not that big yet. So if you try looking up my name, it's not gonna pop up. It's gonna be like some other stuff. But if you could find it, Superior Productions, that's my main channel where I do the films and short films and stuff. My my review channel is Phillips Reviews, and we have this section called Taste Buds on that channel where we do taste videos like sauces and drinks and chips.
You guys
everything.
will see me on there
Yes,
in a couple.
oh, I want to see that.
Yeah, so I have more channels, but they're just there for just random videos like turtles fighting each other on the street, and it's just random stuff. So it don't matter about that.
Got it.
So yeah, my two main
Oh.
channels.
we
yes.
we forgot to mention an important thing, Vlad.
Oh,
Phil is also one of our mods in the
yes.
Discord.
I'm
He's
one of the
a
mods.
mod into MarkTub. So guys, if you're interested, this is a little. If you've listened till the end, this is your little kind of like hot take or alpha call. Message me, Vlad, or Phil on privately on DMs and Instagram, and we can add you in there. We'll do a quick little chat with you, get to know you, because we want to have everything very personal, not just bots in there, and get you in there. Enjoy the community.
Yeah,
For sure.
sounds good. All right, thank you guys. It was a fun little combo we had. Looking
Like,
forward
share, and
to
subscribe.
next week. See y'all.
Bye.
Peace.